Hey, Susana. Thanks for joining me on Between the Meetings. I just want to introduce people to Susana Alvarez. She works with Newtek. She's down in Miami. So, Susana, say hi to everybody. And
Hello, how are you guys?
yeah, it's cool, huh?
Nice
So,
to be with you.
very nice to meet you. This is the first time chance that you and I have had to actually talk at length. I think we've bumped into each other at various places, but you know,
Different trade shows, yes.
yeah. This is more fun. This is better. So you were just talking to me a little bit ago about you have a foundation in Argentina. That's fascinating.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So with my husband in 2007, we put out a foundation that's called For the Kids a Better Future, and it's in Santiago del Estero, which is a very poor state in Argentina. And we support 10 schools in rural areas where there's no electricity, no tap water, and we've been helping them out since 2007. And the idea is how we help them out. It's not only through nutrition, providing them a balance on their food, but at the same time helping the whole community and the family, and especially the kids on the education side, telling him how they can make a difference no matter where you're born, right? Because we're privileged in where we were born, but at the same time, you can make that difference. So that's why we see that on the educations where you see a huge difference, and maybe you were born in a part where you feel that it's not the best place, or you lack of a lot of things, but education helps you, and the opportunity helps you to break that, right? So that's why for us it's very important, and especially the name of the foundation is to give the kids a better future, right?
Well, that's really cool. I I'm one of those people that believe that there's 1,000 Einsteins out there at any time, and we don't know who they are because there's so many people that are unable to be reached by educational opportunities and socioeconomic opportunities as well. So there's a lot of people out there that could just revolutionize the way we live if they only had a half a chance.
And
And
what's really
it's so
incredible
cool.
is that we learn more, and we gain more than what they do. Because you
Oh
think
yeah.
that we help them out, and at the end of the day, it's them helping us out, right? Because they show you the importance of life. And I have four kids. My oldest one, she got married last year. She's 27, and my youngest one, so it's 27, a girl, Carolina, 25, Sofia, 20, Florencia, and then 15, Matias, right? So I got all three girls and one boy. And they help us out also going to Santiago del Estero and be with the different kids of the different schools. And we're like a committed family, right? Our friends also help us out. We do different things throughout the year to obtain money so we can help the kids. But at the end of the day, every time we're there, you realize, how happy they are with what they have. So they don't have the latest iPad, they don't have the latest iPhone, they don't have the latest TV, they don't got cable, nothing. But their soul is full with happiness
Well,
because their basis is the happiness.
yeah, and like you said, we get so much more by helping others than we give. I mean, it's just that's a truism around the world. You get much more than you give, but
So
having the
true. And for
opportunity
us,
of
that's
helping with
important.
education, yeah, it's awesome.
And my dream is for us to be able to do distance learning with them. Well, right now they don't have that kind of ability because there's no satellite that gets into this area because there's no internet, there's no nothing. Sometimes maybe you'll get a one bar cell phone like X amount of miles away, and if you put it next to the tree, right, and all of a sudden
Yeah,
if you have the
or hold
tree.
it next to your head. Did you know
No, no,
that?
no, no. And I've seen this in firsthand where all of a sudden you put the telephone inside the plastic, cut out Coca-Cola empty bottle. And I don't know why with the plastic, it gives you more coverage. And you're like, what? This is so crazy. And we have pictures of us, standing next to the tree, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, I get 1 bar, and so we're wishing for that moment to come where, I think the world's going to be a totally different world where we're going to have everybody the same opportunity when communications are there. So I study.
You're a satellite person.
Yes.
So obviously, you know about all the efforts that are going on right now of creating the mesh net of satellites above us. And I think personally, I think that is going to change the world more than anything. More than anything is the ability to get information to any corner of the world. Um,
And it's
and
exactly what you're saying, because, opportunities, a lot of times, the lack of opportunities is because, of the lack of communication.
yeah,
And just like many years ago, we would sell something, and the famous smoke, we say in Spanish, el humo, right? The famous smoke that was in what you were selling, through these years, it came out because all of a sudden, even our customers a lot of times know more than us in reference to the different products, because the magic, it opened up. So the magic in communication. So I studied international relations, right? And for my thesis, I wrote about the Latin American integration through satellite communications, because this is back in '92. I was dreaming about having distance learning, and the education, not the education, but the portion of healthcare, but through satellite, right? So, the different vertical markets that you have.
Who'd have thought it would take you another 30 years for you to get to where it actually is happening?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, but you know what? It is happening, and it's so exciting. I've told you I'm a sailor, and so when we're well offshore, I like to be in contact. So I have all kinds of devices that I can use.
I'm on the powerboat side. You're on sail, I'm on powerboat.
That's okay. You're in Miami. What do I expect? Yeah, of course you're a power boater. Um, it's the ability to um, be a part of the world while you're apart from the world. And I think that is it's going to be something really cool that we're going to see in very short period of time. I mean, I don't see
Yeah.
this in 5 years. Our communications world is going to be, tipped on its ear by the availability. And
No,
so we'll see what
and I
happens.
can't wait for us to be there, because we're already there. But for example, I'm very anxious into seeing, the different opportunities that, for me being a woman in technology, and a leader, at least a small leader of what I'm doing. I think it's incredible the time that we have, because right now, software makes it, so much easier. And you're seeing, a lot of kids doing so many incredible things that the change is already there, right? All we have to do is open our minds and just, dream big. I have, different sayings that it says here in my wall. If you can dream it, you can achieve it, right? And for me, my daughter's just opening up her own company, and everything is, of course, is for e-commerce, and she's on the fashion designer side and making hats and stuff like that. And you can see that today with the communications, it's really much easier than what it was before, right? And
So
right now,
I was going to say, do you find that it uh, helps to break down barriers doing what we're doing right now?
oh yeah.
The fact, I've always been the thought of this particular technology, what we're doing right now. What this does is it creates those interpersonal relationships that when we dropped out of the trees in the savannah in Africa, everything that wasn't part of our village was a challenge to our resources. So it was an enemy. So doing what we're doing now, though, because even though you're not part of my village, you're still part of my community.
Exactly.
And so my community is so much bigger. And because of that, I have to understand that I can't judge people on what they look like anymore. I have to I have to make that judgment on what they do, who they are. And I think that our technology, I don't like talking about our technology in these sessions, but it's also part of who we are. And to be able to move past the point of, well, you're not from my village, to you are part of my community is a bigger step than I think a lot of people are really realizing. We're going to be able to get past racism, I hope.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
Sexism, that all the isms. If we can get past those, and I think this what we do is part of that, um, we'll be able to really accelerate change.
So true. I'm
And that's
100% with you. Yes.
and it's one of my passion things. Is people that have talked to me before about my business know exactly where I stand on this. It's a big deal to me. Um,
And
and
on the collaboration side, it's so neat what we're experiencing, because I'm a fan in this that has to do with, women's leadership, right?
yeah,
And but women leadership in a way that, I think we have an opportunity to make a change that's really out there and that is needed and is having like this kind of empathy that helps, make the world a better place in reference to, okay, what am I doing, to help others, from leadership stand of view, from a company stand of view, from a mother stand of view, from a friend stand of view, where, I feel myself as a connector, right? So I'm the one that, will be in a conversation saying, okay, so this person's needing this, and maybe this one does that, and okay, let's put them all together, right? And
yeah, yeah.
in order to do that, you got to go out of your comfort zone, right? And I'm a true believer that if, this famous pay forward. Now it can be with us in the foundation. It can be with me as a mother, with me as a friend, with me as a boss, with me just as a vendor. It has to do with how am I as a person and how am I making sure that I make a difference as the day goes by. And for me, that's very important.
And it's all the little things too. You just have to, I don't know what you say. You just have to live it. That's just what we have to do. Um, you know, God, we can go on for hours talking about this stuff, can't we? So what you've talked about a little bit about women in entrepreneurship, women in leadership positions in our industry, of course, is always a big question. Um,
We're
what
too many few people.
what
When you
now?
analyze, I'm in the
I
board of
go.
PSNI, for example, and I'm the first one to be a woman on the board. And when I see myself as an integrator, and I see I analyze the integrators in the world. We're so many few that are woman-led companies. You
Well,
know,
let me ask you a question. I obviously am not, but I don't have any, I have zero ingrained um, position on this. It's just, if you do the job, you do the job. Um, what, what can women in our industry do to, I don't know, rather than it being women in the industry, it's just people in the industry. And that's what we should be doing, is just, we need to bring in a wider range of people into the industry. Women, men, you know, black, brown,
I
yellow,
think it's
white.
very
I
important.
don't think it means, you know, it's more what do you do? So what would you suggest
I
to
think
women that want to do this?
I think it's very important for women it's a combination of several things, right? But what I'm thinking, and again, I'm not an expert. I'm just
Hey, we're just
following what I've been
talking.
seeing, right? So what I've been seeing is um, I think it's very important to give women an opportunity because, for example, we need more women on the board, and that gives a different tone of the board meetings, a different view that you see a lot of women in marketing, for example, right? A lot of women in human resources. We don't see a lot of women on technology, and we need to see more women in technology. So I think it's a mixture. I think it's a mixture of people not being afraid on the women's side to go into technology because it's not a men's world. So one thing is on the step of one, and the other thing is on the step of, inside the company also giving that opportunity to different women. And we're seeing that that's coming out, but it's still very slowly. I mean, for me, I've been in this industry. I was telling you, we inaugurated the video conference service in Argentina back in '89. It's always been a men's world. And what's funny is that when I started on the business, my dad was telling me, okay, this is a woman's world, because yeah, we were, the video conference room integrator, and the video conference room assistant was the woman, right? The one that would do the reservation and everything. But it was funny because then I became on all this, and there wasn't any women on sales or in engineering or anything like that on the video conferencing side, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, this is so amazing. We got to bring this to everybody. And the relationship that I have with my customers is like, I go out there and in my mind, just, every time we go to a different trade show, it's like, okay, how can we be more disruptive? How can we bring this to different customers? Because my customers don't go to those kind of trade shows, So for us, it was a huge responsibility into being there, seeing what's there, and bring it back to them.
Sure.
And again, I didn't study engineering. I come from a background of, international relations, but, I'm third generation in telecommunications. So of course, telecommunications has always been, my dad was the one that he inaugurated in it through Latin America, the digital TV. Okay. So we went all from analog into digital. So basically what I'm saying is, let's not be afraid. If we have a passion, to go after that passion, and, not having anybody stop us, but we have to give that first step,
Well, I think, on the other side of that too, is I think there needs to be a lot more encouragement of industries being gender neutral going into it. I mean, there shouldn't be a man's world, woman's world type
Exactly.
of industry. I mean,
More inclusive. Yes.
yeah, frankly, I don't see, I'm a child of the 70s, so very progressive time in the United States. I don't see any differences. I just, I understand that there are, and I'm trying to figure out ways of eliminating that. So any suggestions, I'm wide open to. Just because I don't understand why there has to be any type of gender separation, particularly in what we do. I mean, it's not like I'm lifting, 50-pound bags of concrete all day long. That would be kind of a crappy thing to do because that wouldn't be what I do. But, I do lift 50 pounds of numbers every day. So anybody can do that.
And on the software side, so we work a lot with Microsoft, and we have our own platform in reference to the communication side. And on the software side, we're looking for people to come into, for the company, right? For new people. And it's so difficult to have a woman's CV. We don't see them on the software side. We see a lot more men. This is again in Argentina, right? And you're like, come on, we need more. It's like, be there.
It's what do we have to do to encourage that?
Starts with education.
Yeah, starts back with that school in the village. Yeah.
Yeah, and making sure that everybody gets a chance, and not being afraid of the math and the science. And it's like, put it out there, put more coding in schools and everything.
Well, that's a good spot to leave this, Susana. I appreciate your time on this, and I'll send you a link to this once I post it up on
Perfect.
LinkedIn and YouTube. It's a blast, and again, I enjoy your time. So hang on just a second.